Welcome to Worldwide Factos. Today, we're counting down the top 10 events that could have ended the world. Moments in history where, if things had gone just a little differently, life on Earth as we know it could have ceased to exist. Are you ready for a thrill ride through the close calls of human history? Let's dive in. Event 10 H5N1 Influenza A. In 2011, scientists genetically altered the deadly H5N1 virus to understand how it could spread between mammals. The experiment showed how easily it could lead to a pandemic, a virus just one mutation away from changing the world forever. Research was halted due to its dangerous potential, but what if? Event 9. The eruption of Mount Tambora. In 1815, Mount Tambora erupted in Indonesia, the largest volcanic eruption in human history. The next year became known as the Year Without a Summer. With drastic climate changes and widespread famine, an eruption like that today, let's just say it wouldn't be pretty. Event 8. The 1918 to 1920 pandemic. The Spanish flu infected 1/3 of the world's population between 1918 and 1920, killing between 17 to 50 million people. It was one of the deadliest pandemics in history and nearly ended life as we know it. Sound familiar? Event 7. The Carrington Event. In 1859, the Carrington Event, the largest solar storm ever recorded, wreaked havoc on telegraph systems. If it happened today, widespread blackouts and electrical chaos would plunge the world into darkness. Would we survive it? Event 6. Chernobyl, 1986. In 1986, the world witnessed the horror of the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. A reactor explosion sent dangerous levels of radiation into the atmosphere, turning nearby areas into ghost towns overnight. Without the heroic actions of those who managed the aftermath, the damage could have been far worse. Event 5. Solar Flare, 2012. In July 2012, the sun fired off a solar storm powerful enough to knock out all global communications and power grids. A coronal mass ejection, CME, sent a massive beam of plasma toward Earth's orbit. Luckily, we had passed that spot a week earlier. Otherwise, we could have been thrown back into the Dark Ages. Event 4. The Bonilla Comet, 1883. In 1883, astronomer Jose Bonilla saw what he thought were birds passing in front of the sun. But decades later, scientists theorized these birds were actually fragments of a comet. Thousands of them passed just 400 miles from Earth, close enough that if they had hit, it could have been an extinction-level event. Event 3. The Windscale Fire, 1957. England's worst nuclear disaster happened in 1957 when a fire broke out at the Windscale nuclear facility. For 3 days, radiation spread throughout the UK, causing hundreds of cancer deaths. The fire was eventually extinguished, but it was a close call, and the fallout could have been much worse. Event 2. Soviet Nuclear False Alarm Incident, 1983. In 1983, the world narrowly avoided nuclear war thanks to a man named Stanislav Petrov. When Soviet systems falsely indicated American missiles were incoming, Petrov chose to trust his gut, not his orders, and did nothing. He was right. There were no missiles. This man's quick thinking may have saved us all. Event 1. Comet Hyakutake, 1996. The Great Comet of 1996 came incredibly close to Earth, passing by at just 9 million miles. On the cosmic scale, this was practically next door. If it had hit us, the impact could have been devastating, potentially ending civilization as we know it. Luckily, it was just a beautiful sight in the sky. That's your top 10 events that almost ended the world. Stay tuned for more incredible world-changing facts on this channel.